Okay,
All right, what are we talking about today,
we are in
David?
economic community, and I think I will have time to then read the principles to you, and may not be much on that. In the economic community, I'm just going to read the headers first. Property, collective bargaining, work and leisure, consumption, poverty, foreign workers, gambling, family farms, corporate, and then next week we will be doing corporate responsibility, finance, trade and investment, we may touch on. And the last two are graft and corruption, and then public indebtedness. So if these are other topics that you're going to want to pursue on your own, today we are on work and leisure. Hold on, we have economic community ones because we claim all economic systems to be under the judgment of God, no less than other facets of the created order. Therefore, we recognize the responsibility of government to develop and implement sound fiscal and monetary policies that provide for economic life of individuals and corporate entities and ensure full employment and adequate income with a minimum of inflation. That's why we have social principles in this area. Nancy.
I'm not saying a word.
Yeah, and it's probably better. No, I'm just kidding you here. I know that some of her views are a little more conservative than some of mine. And when we were on single groups, just the two of us, we had a chance to really explore those. And that's the type of thing we need, because sometimes you can get a little too churchy on some of these things. And you need a practical, because the quadrilateral, is it biblical? Is it tradition, reason, and experience? And this reason and experience is the part that we add to it in these types of discussion, because trying to get the 2,000-year-old biblical statements, and some of them as far back as 5,000 years old, that we're working with, to apply to today's world, we need the other two, the reason and experience, to put it together. Because these are, what these two social principles are addressing here. The prophets, and then Jesus. What?
You were right about all those things.
Yeah,
It's just that I was making discussion because there's a lot of gray as far as I'm concerned.
And there is, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
And the thing is, that we need to discuss it so that you think about what you say, and then when you go home and think, I said that. Oh, geez, that's not exactly what I've been doing it here or on this or on that. It's a chance to think these things through. Okay, so work and leisure. Every person has the right to a job at a living wage, where the private sector cannot or does not provide the jobs for all who seek them and need them. It is the responsibility of the government to provide for the creation of such jobs. That's a tough one. We support social measures that ensure physical and mental safety of workers, that provide for equitable division of products and services, and encourage an increasing freedom in the way individuals may use their leisure time. We recognize the appropriate leisure, we recognize the opportunity leisure provides for creative contributions to society, and encourage methods that allow workers additional blocks of discretionary time. We support education, cultural, and recreational outlets to enhance the use of such time. We believe that persons come before profit. We deplore the selfish spirit that often pervades our economic life. We support policies that encourage the sharing of ideas in the workplace, cooperative and collaborative work arrangements. We support the right of workers to refuse to work in situations that endanger the health or life without jeopardy to their jobs. We support policies that would reverse and increase concentration of business. Let me start that one again. We support policies that would reverse the increasing concentration of business and industry into monopolies. That all of these mergers and that, when they say they're increasing efficiency, what they mean is they're reducing the number of jobs, you know, so, but, you know, these are all things. Now, do we wanna stop there and then have about a 10-minute discussion of that, or do you wanna hear consumption?
Well, I would like to ask you, David, if you know of any, movement or any discussion that has gone on in the past about, putting the people that are taking welfare money, the people on welfare, the ones that are able to work, why not have a work program for them in exchange for the welfare money they receive? Kinda like the CCC back in the 30s. Has there ever been, has the government ever considered that?
I'm not sure, but what happens, in our actual system, if you qualify for food stamps, then as soon as you can, get a job, basically it comes pretty close to disqualifying you for it. So all of our policies are set so that once you have an increase in income, very modest, then you lose the benefit. So we incentivize these things. One of the tax programs that we currently have, though, is the Earned Income Tax Credit, but only available if you have children. You will get a tax refund larger than the tax that you paid. Because the idea here is that if we can help the children, then they will be in a better position to be responsible citizens and taxpayers. And like even in the VA, if you're on, you know, full disability, and then you make more than $3,000 in a year, then, you know, anything you would do that in any way engages you in the economic community, to, you know, you can get a start as a part-time, a foot in, then you start losing your benefits rather rapidly. And we disincentivize the whole idea. And back to the thing now on the CC type thing, I would fully support that. And the most recent thing, though, that I have seen, I was outside DMV, there was a petition signing for to attach all public welfare benefits and things like that to drug testing. If you tested positive, then you would lose your...
Qualify, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Okay, and there was a very nice young lady there that was explaining, you know, but now, I work a food pantry, and, you know, the clients that I see come in, you know, are facing a lot of difficulties, and drug problems are one of the difficulties they face. And if you cut off their benefits, basically, you've now created more homeless, and the person whom benefit you have cut off is not the one that is going to suffer the most. The children and dependents in that family. So we have a difficult problem here, yes.
Yeah.
But this makes the problem worse. It
Yeah.
is not something to...
There's more than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, there usually is,
Yeah,
all these things.
yeah.
And one of the reasons the CCC took off and ran like crazy is because they had to hire so many people to administer the program. And the whole thrust was, we need to give people jobs. You be in charge of the program and hire 6 people before we even got to do the work.
True.
We had to have the administration. And then you got
Yeah.
the laborers, the engineers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of
And
those,
that's what they want to avoid doing now.
with the government programs, there's a name for it, white welfare.
What is it called?
White welfare,
White welfare.
yeah, because you get the good job of hiring poor people who may actually be more qualified for your job than you are, but because of connections and your, you know, position, and perhaps your reading skill and your oral skills in terms of coming across. Well, so there are some other confounding factors here.
And when they talk about women on welfare, because there's more white women, there's more white women on welfare. But people,
A lot.
People don't get that. The stereotype is a black woman with 6 kids.
Right.
And of course, she's fat. And of course, she's sitting around doing nothing.
Doing nothing,
No,
yeah.
watching soaps, come on.
That's right.
Let's
Oh,
be
yeah.
honest here.
Right. But the reality is that, yeah, it's usually a white woman under 30 with 2 kids. The guy walked off, the guy left, the guy died, the guy whatever. You know.
Well, and when we first began these in the sixties and that, you could get the welfare benefits as long as there was not a man in the household.
Yeah.
So those that might have been a couple with 2 children, in order for her to get the welfare benefits,
He had to leave.
he had to leave.
Yeah.
And then, of course, nature being what it is, sometimes then there were 3 children and still no man in the household. And then you get this social phenomenon of single-parent families, and it just, if you think it takes a village to raise people, it takes at least, it is, no, very successful single household raising children, I'm not gonna go there. But it is easier if you have 2 people.
Oh, yeah.
As I watch my son and daughter-in-law with their 2 kids, and I think to myself, how on earth did I ever do this?
Right, yeah.
And I don't, and yet, you know, they're happy, calm, collected and all that, and presumably I was at the same time, but as I look at it from this age perspective, I think, oh, I'm tired, I'm
Yeah.
tired.
That's right.
You know,
25 years ago, I was a single parent dad, and that was really unusual. I got child
a
support,
successful
and
single parent, okay.
I got
I've
sole
been a
custody.
son. Boy,
But we lived in the basement of a 3-flat. The lady on the first floor was the wife of my scoutmaster when I was growing up. She owned the place. The lady on the second floor was the previous owner. They were both Polish women who kept the place Polish clean. Rob had a bedroom on the second floor and on the first floor and in the basement. And he had his choice of menu. You know, Dad was working.
Yeah.
I worked midnights, and when I came home, my biggest challenge was, where is my son?
Yeah, which bedroom?
Which bedroom?
Is he in?
And they were all, you know, his mattress, his stuff, his,
Yeah,
you know.
nobody else
So-
was using it too.
So he had 2 grandmas.
well,
In the
that's kind of the
house.
village concept there.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, and now, because we do not live in those smaller confines, it seems, that you even look at my kid, and it's possible grounds for a lawsuit. But if you're actually talking to them and, you know, telling them, hey, you know, get off the fence there, that is, if that blows you away. So, there's some real changes in, and the principle here is saying that, by government, they're also then saying that, you know, we as the people are responsible for things like this, and that the idea that there be jobs for people, whether it be CC or whatever, it's not saying be sure that, you know, that you're feeding them all jobs, because people do need to be kept busy. And then they add in there that there should be benefits that give you blocks of time, and one of those would be maternity leave, parental leave, and things like that. And the way we're structured is young people then with children have to work the longest, the hardest, and the most, and they also have the children, and I'm retired, and, you know,
Yeah, you got every day to yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be that way.
I know.
Yeah, and certainly you had to bite your tongue when you said that.
Yeah. I mean, we have
So-
the choice.
Yes, but we do have the choice. And then we have a large pool of labor that is out there, but it's undisciplined, you know, in the elderly. And we could be managing child care and things like that through cooperatives and things. And reducing the poverty level on the elderly in that by going to, and they do this in the East, more, we don't do it out here. Some of the church and community groups run monitoring or assistance groups for putting people together if I've got a 4-bedroom home, and it's me and Barbara, then there could be at least 1 or 2 other couples or 1 or 2 other individuals that could live there, and they don't have to be poor and broke. They could pick up, a portion of the expenses and that, that we already have covered anyway, but then it increases their enjoyment of life, that now they could go to Texas or something to visit the grandkids over there and whatever. And then everybody can actually have cable or direct TV rather than say, there are things that we could do, but then the complexity of managing it. But then you have groups like this, kind of like the, not Family Promise, but there's another group similar to that, Open Table, that they take a family, and then you've got 9 or 10 people around the table that manage advising and discussing on certain aspects of this family's economic and other situations. And it's a one-on-one type advisory group then that lifts them out of poverty and moves them forward.
Is that going on in Las Vegas?
No, UMSUM was approached on opening a chapter here. They're doing it, Methodist in Phoenix are doing it. So, and it's a program that is set up so that it's like any of these things. You need to have a program and multiple people in the group, because we all know that this abuse of elderly and the poor is one of the most common types of abuses out there. Because, well, that's why they call them vulnerable, these types of populations. And so putting together groups, but you also then need to know the people well enough that you can assist and manage with the merged household concept and things like this. And if you know that one of them's a hoarder and perhaps that's not really just going to work out, then that comes to the table and discreetly handle. Other people that can, and then if they do have a dispute, well, Barbara and I have disputed for at least 43 years now. Does toilet paper roll off the roll forward or backward? I'm a forward roll, and Barbara is a back roll. And now we have separate bathrooms, so it is not
Not an issue anymore.
Not a contention anymore. And what a relief.
But something, and this is one of the joys I see, long married couples just thinking of 2 people learning to make decisions together from 20s to 30s to 40s. How the heck did they do it? How did they just retain their individuality, which obviously a lot of the couples in this church have done. Yet, they get along. That to me is the Holy Ghost. That is the Holy Spirit saying, I am a person, I will do it this way, and I love you. Give me a hug. Oh, you lost the argument, go away happy. Oh, okay. And they do. You do. And that's,
Well, part of it has to do with the character of the person, because some people just never ever get there, and others do, based upon your character, how your values and all that.
and to me, that's intelligence and maturity. I lost the argument.
Okay.
Geez, nobody thinks less of me, except me. Well, I gotta get over that. I lost the argument. She was right. Wait a minute. It didn't hurt a bit. She still fed me. She still gave me a hug. She said, I remember your name. Just remember that other thing. Oh, don't do that. Oh. But that's, to me, that's how guys get formed. Ma starts it. Sisters get involved. And then wife.
I think that's pretty much true. The women seem to have that basic ability to get along and know what's necessary.
And to me, that's long term. Guys think about the weekend or the summer vacation. Women think about after the kids are grown.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, in conclusion,
Yes.
I want to call your attention to the fact that in this social principle, they combined work and leisure. It's not that, you know, we have work as something and then leisure is something else.
Yeah.
These are things that need to be balanced and, you know, looked at together. Because they account for our time.
Yeah, and
The
I
only other
think,
thing left is sleep, the big part of my time.
yeah, I think that's an important awareness.
Yeah, so, okay, and again, then next time, we could hit, consumption and poverty, or, yeah. And if I finish up what I'm doing there and pay attention, we can get started a little earlier.
Okay. Well, isn't Brian starting his next week?
No, he's waiting until after, if he does, then we're off. If he doesn't, we're on. And, I understood that he was coming back the weekend after Labor Day, but he's out here, we'll check with him.
Okay, yeah, because I think the newsletter says the 6th.
I wrote it down on my calendar.
Yeah, unless this week's newsletter has changed. But so far, it's been written down as the 6th.
Okay.
And what I will,
And let me just look at the
The
calendar
sixth.
thing here, you know.
Sunday the sixth.
Which is next Sunday.
That is, okay, oh, great, okay.
But
So-
check
so
with
now-
him
now,
to be sure,
next-
David.
Next summer, we'll pick up here.
Okay, that sounds good. I think it's good to discuss these social principles.
Yeah, and because some of, I mean, and they're written by committees and they change. And we have new ones, we have things that have been taken out, and we're hoping that the social principle on marriage and that, and things of that nature will